Hello world, welcome to episode 7 of our Monorepo series. In the last video, we pushed our wheel to PyPy registry using Pant. In this video, we'll continue from there. We'll push to Google Cloud registry using Pant and see how we can push to multiple registries using Pant. So let's get started. I have my Google Cloud registry, yeah. You can also use any cloud provider you want, AWS, Azure. They all provide a artifactory registry. So I just go there to console, and then I'll go to my dashboard. I can scroll to, I think this should be under CI/CD if I remember. Then I can go to artifact registry. So inside the artifact registry, we can see our Docker registry we created in our previous video, still there. Then we can see our social media Python registry I created for Python. And let's see how we can push our code into this. So let's set up access to this repository. And to set up access to the Google Cloud Artifactory or repository, we need to create a service account. And that service account is what we'll use to interact with the Google Cloud Artifactory. So let's go ahead and create a service account, and then we'll give the service account the required permissions. So I'll come here, now go to IAM. I should see service account. So I go to IAM, then I can do service accounts. Then I can create a new service account. So I'll just call this Pant wheel. And then I'll say for Pant wheel, then create and continue. Then I'll give this access to Artifactory. I'll give this a writer access to be able to write to the repository. So continue, and I'll do done. Great. So this key has been created, or this service account has been created. Now we need to create a key. Remember, this service account is just a service account that exists inside of Google Cloud. It needs a username, it needs a key to be able to interact with Google Cloud as though it's a username and a password. So I'll go to keys and I will do add new keys, and I'll make this a JSON key. This will create a private key that will download to our local system, and we'll use the private key to be able to authenticate to the Google Cloud. So I'll just create this. Great. So that created the private key for me. Yeah. I'll just go to my IDE, open this up, and we'll see how it looks like. So I'm back to my IDE, and this is how the file looks like. So this is pretty much just containing metadata information to be able to authenticate with Google Cloud. So I'll close this. And then for us to be able to use this, we need to do a few things. We need to be able to convert this key that I showed earlier to a base 64 encoded value. And that's what we'll then use to authenticate against Google Cloud Artifactory. So to be able to do that, I'll just do base 64 dash I specifies the input file, and dash O specifies, implies the output file. So I'll say 64, the text, this is just the output file. Okay. So this creates the base 64 file. So I can copy this, and in my secret, let's just create another one. We'll just comment this out for now. And I'll comment this for now. And I'll copy this, base 64, coded secrets. I'll replace what I had there with a new value. The next thing I'll do is also replace the username with this. So this underscore JSON underscore key underscore base64. And this is in the documentation of from Google. I'll share that in the link below. You see that documentation there. So with this, we should be able to push to our registry. So let's try it now. I forgot one more thing. So we need to change this to the full path of our registry. So I'll just comment this out and we'll go back to our Google Cloud and kind of look at the full path. Or sometimes it's contained here. I'm not sure. Okay, it's not here. So we'll just go back to our Google console and pull that from there. So I'll go back to view products and I'll scroll to my CI/CD artifactory, this one, and we'll just copy this full path and I'll paste it here. Great. So now we have the full path, so we can literally try this and see if it works. Okay. So I'll clear this and try to publish to that path. Oh, I forgot to set the environment variables that we changed there. So I'll just set that again. So this will pretty much run this first line, run the second line, and set that to my environment variable. Instead of writing it out one by one, this is just a simple way. Then I can do and I can say Pant publish source Python calculator, and then the path, which is calculator underscore wheel. So this will set this environment variable in this session, and then this will run the Pant publish. Great. So we'll see we're able to build and publish. If you get this authentication error, just ensure that you set the right environment variable, and then you will be fine. You'll be good to go. So let's go back to our Google Cloud and see if this was correctly pushed. So I'll just refresh this, and great. So we see the wheel was pushed to Google Cloud 0.2. This was pushed to Google Cloud, so this works. And this is how you push to the Google Cloud artifact registry. So let's say you want to push to multiple registry at once. The easiest way to do that is to let's go to the documentation. We'll see that there's this file called i.pypirc. The easiest way is just to create a similar file. So I can create a similar file at the root of my Python project. Okay, and I can paste this content there. So let's verify the name. That's it's just written somewhere, so I just copy it and I'm sure. Because sometimes I make some typo, see? Okay, so this will define the PyPy registry, which is normal, which we did earlier. And then this will define our private repository. So I'll just call this GCP private. Okay. And then this will define the username for that, and then we'll pass in the password as an environment variable. Okay, so I'll copy this and then show that this matches this. Okay, and then I can literally do the same thing here, specify the username, and we'll go back to our secret and we use this for the username. Oh, sure, this is the correct one. And then I'll copy this for the secret as well, the username for this. Paste it here. Then I don't need to specify the PyPy repository URL because it knows it out of the box. And then I need, let's go and see what we need again. Then I need the repository URL. So I can copy that from here. And I can paste it, yeah. Right. So if we go back to the documentation, if you scroll down, you'll see that you need to set the twin password, which it's usually the default, and then you set the password underscore the repository, right? So we'll set these two and then we'll try it out. Okay, so I'll copy this and I'll go back. So my secret, I'll just comment this for now and I'll do export. And what is the name of my repository? I set that, yeah, I call it GCP private, and then I can say GCP underscore private. Take note that the dash will change to underscore, and all of this is in the documentation. GCP private, then I can just copy this password, which we used earlier. Oopsie. Okay, that's good. The next thing is we need to do the same thing for this one, right? So I can copy that. And then I can call this is the PyPy registry. If I come here, I see that I called it PyPy. So I can rename that to PyPy, okay. I can do PyPy, P-Y-P-I, oopsie, P-Y-P-I, PyPy, all uppercase. Okay, so next we'll come to our build and we'll change some things here, but let's go to the documentation and see what we need to change. Okay, so if you look at the documentation, it says in the build here, you can specify the registry by calling @pypy, or you can just use the @ symbol. So we'll use that and we'll run this. So I'll say, I'll just delete this too, and then I'll say @pypy. That's the name of the first repo. And then the second repo is, we'll come, yeah. Look at the second repo. We called it this is the name we called it. So I can paste that here with the @ symbol. Great. So now let's try to push to both repositories. But if we do, it's going to throw us an error because that version already exists. So bump up the version by 1 and try to push to the repository. And this is how we bump up the version. So I'll just call this 2 and I'll say push to multiple, Oh, I guess it doesn't want string, so let's just bump this to 10. So let's run this and see. But before we run this, we need to run this in a different terminal just because of the previous sessions I had set. And remember, we already set the token, the username for PyPy. We set that for GCP. We also set the repository, and we also set the secrets here for both. And we specify that this is for PyPy, and we specify that this is for GCP private. And then in our build, we just use the @ symbol to call that. So let's run this and then see. So this is a new, so let's do a new terminal first. I'll just close the old one. The reason we do a new terminal here is just because it sets multiple environment variables and sometimes it messes the true output of this. So that's why we did a new terminal there. So let's run this and see the results. Before we run that, let's change this version to, I'll just do version 11 just so it's unique, in case there's any version that published prior. Okay. Okay, so we see an error here that the file name exists. Probably this is when I was trying to test things out. So I'll just use a higher version here. So just the 1, 2, 3, something I've never used before. Okay, great. So we see it was able to publish to the PyPy registry as well as the GCP registry. So let's go and verify this in PyPy and also GCP. So I refresh this and I see this was published, which is great. And then I'll go to my GCP console and I'll just refresh this. And great, so see that this was published just now. So this is how you push to both registries. And this is one of the beauties of Pant. You can, literally specify all the repositories and you can build, and push to all those repositories that you want. And that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Hit the like button, subscribe. Bye.